coming up, what's your favorite scary movie? No, seriously, Scary Movie is back. Join us as we dissect the trailer for Scary Movie 6. Stay tuned.
We on break, so you handle yours. I'll be right over here eating my falafel and my pork rinds.
Welcome to the Morgue, where we dissect the latest and greatest in the world of entertainment. I am your host, Arturo Padilla, and with me always is Mr. Nick Valdez. Before we get started, do not forget to hit the subscribe button, that thumbs up, and that bell to know when these videos are dropping. Tex, how you doing today, buddy?
Howdy, everybody. Howdy, Arturo. Scary Movie 6. If you listen to or watched our Scream 7 review, please go check that one out. You might have heard us mentioning Scary Movie and the trailer before that. It was because, it was one of those where we got the secret premiere of the Scary Movie 6 trailer with Scream 7. But now that it's officially online, we can talk about it. There are some edits to its jokes. One of the jokes that was seen in theaters is not in the trailer. We'll get into that. But Scary Movie 6, or officially Scary Movie. So this is an interesting thing, Arturo, because I know you haven't seen these movies. It's one of those things where it just doesn't appeal.
Yeah,
To
I'm not a big fan of the horror parody. I'm such a horror nerd. I'm
right,
one of those kinds of guys that I really didn't like them making fun of the movies I really loved. And on
right.
top of that, it wasn't like it was quality to me at the time. But I am kind of excited to see it with 40-year-old eyes,
Yeah,
to see what kind of pops off and what pops off the screen. If the jokes are still landing properly all these years
right.
afterwards. I did have a little chuckle or two when I did see this new trailer in theaters, because I didn't expect to see a trailer for this at all.
Yeah.
And they grabbed some very good material. We have some very good movies that they're that they're parodying in this one, and I can't wait to actually talk about that a little later. But Tex, like you were saying, I am not aware at all about
Right.
this universe
So
whatsoever. There's a bunch of these movies. I think I've only seen the first one and only bits and pieces I remember. Can you
right.
just break it down for me, man?
Yeah, so that's the funny thing about Scary Movie 6 in general, is that it's a legacy sequel. Like it's going to be one of the, like, I'm sure they're going to call attention to this many times throughout this movie as like oh, we're back after all these years. And that's the same situation. Like it's so the Wayans were around with the first two eras of the film. Like, you have the first one in 2000. It was directed by Kevin Ivory Wayans, but it was also written by him together with like Sean and Marlon and like a bigger writing staff in general. And that first one was more like a direct take on the first Scream film itself, but it also had some of like I Know What You Did Last Summer in it, a few other scattered jokes here and there. Then there was Scary Movie 2, which was also directed by Keenan Ivory Wayans. It was also written by, together with Marlon and Sean and a few others. And, that one expanded its world to other horror in general. You got your Silence of the Lambs, your Poltergeist, your Exorcist, all that sort of stuff. That's probably why the people remember those first two even more, because
Okay.
then after that they stopped being involved with it. Then you got Scary Movie 3, new writers, new directors, new casts, because the Wayans brothers did not return for this. None of their involvement did, but you had returning characters like Anna Faris and Regina
Oh,
Hall
okay.
to
So
keep their
she's
stuff going. Yes.
Okay, so she's stuck all the way through pretty much. Like she's
Yes.
the Sydney Prescott of this
Yes.
universe, right?
So Cindy, yeah, and here
Cindy.
she's Cindy Campbell is her name in these, and she was a constant through all these. That's the thing too, is that while the Wayans were no longer involved after the first two, Scary Movies 3, 4, and 5 did continue Cindy's story. Yes, it was wacky. Yes, it was like very stupid. And yes, so many things happened. Like Brenda full on died at one point. but then like in one movie she fought the girl from The Ring. I
Of
mean, yeah,
course.
like yeah, so like
Yeah, they
there
get
was
things for
she
that. Yeah.
yeah, like there's a whole thing, and then she died, and then like, but then she's fine in the next movie. Like that's a whole thing. Yeah, like, but this is all to say, Scary Movie 6, it's a big kind of homecoming, and it's just Scary Movie, and that's the funny thing, right? It's like Scream 5. It's like the trend of these horror movies, just call it like Halloween 2018, right? It's just
Yeah.
calling it by the first name again. And with this different director, Michael Tides, who has not directed a scary movie film in the past, but has directed a lot of stuff that Marlon has been doing, like Marlon Wayans. So, like, if you've seen A Haunted House, 50 Shades of Black, those kinds of movies, he has directed those. So he has experience directing with Marlon Wayans, at least.
Okay.
Well, so okay, this is all the homework out of the way, and now we can actually talk about this thing. So my big question, just watching this, and just like my big thing is like, this is why, yeah, in the trailer it's full legacy. You've got Cindy back, you've got Anna Faris back, you got Regina Hall back, you've got all the characters back, like from the original Scary Movie, which is kind of like a big deal, because it's like, okay, many of them died, a lot of the whatever happened, whatever, but they're back as the characters. Like there's, we've got Doofy back, and we've got stuff like that, where it's like, okay, you know, it's been 26 years since that first one, right? And I guess my thing is, like, with how much comedy has changed, and with how much like just the world has changed since 2000, I
Yeah,
look,
I'm
uh,
curious
how
myself as to how it's gonna turn out, right?
yeah,
The
yeah,
world's a
because
whole lot different. A quarter
yes,
century's passed,
yeah,
right?
like
Um,
it's
like back then, like I got my parody comedy from South Park and stuff like that.
right,
So movies like these really didn't cross my radar in terms of, oh, you got to watch this because it's funny. But
right,
now in times like these where there aren't really a lot of
yeah,
comedies getting released out there in theaters, and there aren't a lot of mainstream comedy things that you can actually access. It's either you got to go on YouTube and look for stand-up stuff, right?
yeah.
Or you got to go back and watch old school comedies. Um and This is why this one is kind of kind
It
of hyped, I got to
it
say, to
it
be
is
honest, dude.
interesting. Yeah, it is interesting, right? Where it's like, you watch this trailer, some jokes hit, some don't. It's comedies, right? Like, that's the
Yes.
nature of parody. But like Arturo said, this is a big budget parody movie that, like, that hasn't happened since, like, these parody movies got shut down in the first place. Because for those who might not know, or who didn't live through that time, Arturo will know, is that, like, after these scary movies did so well in theaters, it kicked off this whole era of, like, garbage, of like like, we got like superhero movie,
Yeah, that
uh
not another teen movie, right?
which
Not
was
another
good. One of my
superhero movie,
favorites, not
right?
another
That
teen
whole like
movie.
not another movie dot dot dot. You know what I mean?
Yes,
That whole
you
line
got,
of stuff.
what was it, love movie, disaster movie,
Rom com or
yeah,
something,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
meet the Spartans,
Oh,
vampires suck. I know way too many of these. It's because I, like, these were the direct to these hit theaters. That's the thing too, is that they all hit
yes.
theaters, and they
Yes.
all,
All of
like,
them.
they were the definition of slop before slop became like a 2026 word. These were movies that they got so distilled away from what made the first two scary movies so good, in that they thought it was just like, oh, random celebrity cameo, they get hurt in some way, random, here's Poe from Kung Fu Panda with rabies,
Yeah.
here is the,
Yeah.
Alvin and the Chipmunks who are evil, that kind of stuff. Like, it really,
Like bottom of the barrel Mad TV stuff.
yes,
You know what I
like,
mean?
total, like, yeah, you saw it in Walmart in like a $5 bin, and even then it was still too expensive to buy. Like, that's the kind of movies these were. And
Yeah,
so
the
that,
ones like stuck together in like the triple sets, right? The bundles.
yes, yes, and so that is why, like, looking at Scary Movie 6, it's immediately kind of refreshing in a way, because it's like Arturo said, you don't get these comedies anymore. You don't get these people on screen anymore. You don't get the Wayans working together. Like Kim Wayans gets a spot in this trailer where it's like, yo, when was the last time we've seen Kim Wayans in like a
Hot
big
minute.
project on any
A
like of
hot
any
minute,
kind,
dude.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's been a
so
while, dude.
yeah, it's that kind of thing where like it's so funny that this is a legacy sequel, but it's kind of like it's a parody maybe of those ideas, but it is genuinely like a nostalgic kind of run back through what we liked about the
Yeah.
other ones, right?
Yeah. Because from my vantage point and through my eyes, eyes that are very virgin to this universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
It seems like bringing all these people back feels like a big deal in this
Yeah,
trailer, even right?
yeah,
Like for a person like myself who hasn't seen any of them, maybe past one, and I seen bits and pieces of two or something like that when they dropped 20 years ago, it felt like a big deal seeing a trailer like this in theaters, especially before Scream 7. It felt
yeah,
very nostalgic, very, 90s Hollywood. It was fun
yeah,
seeing this trailer
yeah,
attached to Scream. And it was fun seeing this kind of antics and comedy on a large format because this stuff is like I mentioned, this stuff is what you find on YouTube or Hulu
yeah,
when you go looking for comedy or things that you want to laugh about. So as as a dude who had no interest in seeing any of these scary movies. I think I'm gonna have to just start watching them in order to follow along with these characters because, dude, honestly, like they had me when Cindy came on screen looking like Laurie Strode from Halloween 2018.
the full Laurie
Yeah,
Strode.
dude,
It's
when
great.
I saw
Yeah,
that, I was like, all right, I'm in.
yeah,
I'm in
and that
because it's like it's such a hilarious, just like homage to Laurie Strode's character
yeah,
in that new iteration, which is like
yeah,
it's so perfect. It works
yeah,
because she's older too on top of that. So it's just like it works. It just like it's like you're parodying something, yes, but now the actress is older, right? So it's fine to do this with her because she's been through the gamut of Hollywood. She's done the quote unquote final girl stint just like Jamie Lee Curtis. So it
yeah, yeah.
it is a funny like parallel of real life and parody. So I think that's why it's sticking a lot with me this time around.
Yeah, and this is also why like these movies are so revered in my heart too, where I'm like, yeah, like a lot of the jokes did not age well. Like if I look at it and I'm like, okay, there's a lot of stuff that I'm laughing at that I should not be laughing at like publicly, right? And that's the thing. And in screen and in this one, there are some jokes here where it's like it kind of toes that line of like, you know,
It's like,
stuff.
hey, am I allowed to laugh at this right now?
Yes, and that's and honestly, like that's comedy in general, right? Where it's like
Yeah.
if you want good comedy, like you want it pushing the envelope. Of course, like there's the whole just don't punch down, right? Like just make these silly jokes about these silly characters in a silly movie, and then we're good, right? As long as there's
Yeah.
nothing uh like there's nothing underneath it, right? As long as you don't feel like any like malice or ill intent or anything like that. There's a difference, right? There's a difference between saying these things derogatorily and saying these things because the silly character is acting silly.
I don't
And
know, man. There was that derogatory joke about Scream 6 in the
yeah, so
trailer.
that's very good point. So as Arturo mentions, like the trailer online is like it was different from the one we got in theaters. The one we got in theaters, the last joke sees Sydney talking together with Shorty and I forget what the other like what Sean's name in it, but it's Shorty and I forget. But they were talking to them about the movies, right? And she's like, "Well, you can't. It's like Halloween without Jamie Lee Curtis," which a whole line altogether. Where it's because how many of those were without Jamie Lee Curtis, right? But point stands is they're trying to say, "Oh, and this is like doing a Scream without Nev Campbell," and they're like, "Well, that's Scream 6." So like it was another layered joke on top of all
Ouch.
the references you get to Scream. Like it, but in here you get the Kim Wayans bit, which is like and it's a reference to Scream 5, which is interesting because that's when Sam was chased through the hospital in the break room, right? And like, but in this one, the break room has people in it. See, that's ultimately the thing that brings you back to this, Arturo, where it's like there are jokes that work in this trailer, but when you break them down and you actually look at what's going on, it's still kind of a full parody of Scream. Like it's Scream, but then it has these other elements, right? Because you have the subway like stabbing, you have
Yep.
her getting chased through the hospital, you have
Yeah.
moments where you have the house party fight, right? And this is the whole thing. It seems like what this is all looking like, and yes, I'm probably looking at this all too, too hoity-toity, right? Like I'm probably going, oh, thinking too, but no, you kind of have to, right? But then you have your Ghostface here, who seems to be using other horror movies parodies to like kill its people.
Yeah,
Like you have him
dude.
using the
Again,
substance, and
that's
like,
also
yeah,
something that brought me in, as well as my kids too, because they know about these horror movies now,
yeah.
so like they want to see this movie, and I'm like, oh God, what have I done? Right. But
Yeah, yeah,
but
because
like
there's probably there's gonna be some raunchy things in this. That's the
I
thing. It's like
know, man.
you
I
can
know. So yeah,
guarantee. Yeah,
I mean, just alone, like the parodies that they're using alone, like for instance, the substance, right? That's being used, and now they're calling it the stuff, which is funny because there was a movie called The Stuff
right.
about killer marshmallows. So that that whole sequence of the stuff that they're going to be doing here in Scary Movie for sure is going to be super raunchy. Because if you've seen the substance and like the body horror that goes on in that movie,
Yeah,
it's gonna be something gnarly. And also they got Chris Elliott back, right? Playing
yeah,
the butler with the little hand, right?
yeah.
And he's
It's the
doing and he's doing
yeah.
the long legs bit.
Still the best joke in the original in Scary Movie 2, where he's like, "Grab my hand, that's my strong hand, the little hand." Like Chris Elliott is like an MVP, and so bringing him back as long legs, like
Yeah.
yeah, like that might be his only scene, but that's kind of like yeah,
That
like
alone, dude, it's like just
that's gonna
oh
be
my
good,
God,
man.
it's awesome.
Yeah, and
That looks hilarious. And they're also doing a very nice job parodying weapons because there's a nice little
right,
scene where you clearly know because of the iconic, kid running with the arms out thing. And they're again, this is I think this is why this trailer and this version of Scary Movie hits with me because these movies that they're parodying are movies that I've trashed before here
right.
on the morgue and in writing reviews for Corpse Feed. And it's just nice to see them kind of grab stuff that I already shat on.
Yeah,
So it's
like taking the piss out of them, right? Where it's like, yeah,
yes,
like movies like Weapons or Get Out. Like
a
there's a Get
smile.
Out,
They
there's a
do a good
Smile
smile when
reference.
like stop
Yeah,
smiling as she hits him with a bedpan.
yeah, and I think that's the thing, right? Where it's like just and that is the worry with this one. It's like, okay, are they pulling in too many recent things to like yeah, it'll be like it's one of those like bigger conversations around the spoof in general where it's like, okay, like it's going to be is it going to be good for now and is it going to be good for later, right? Because then like
Yes.
looking back on the franchise, like I still say Scary Movie 2 aged the best because it was just like it had the most ideas that were well then you look at it right and you're like, oh, there's a lot of stuff that only makes sense if you specifically remember the 2000s with like
Yes.
allusions to pop culture and stuff like that.
Yes.
And so
Exactly. But also
there's
to your
the
point too, like that same point is here in this movie
yes,
because I'm going through a
yes,
list of these movies and these are all freaking successful horror movies. They
yeah,
have like under this umbrella of Scary Movie 6, right? You
yeah,
have Megan, you have Terrifier, you have The Substance, you have Get Out, you have Smile, you have Ma, you have Weapons, you have Halloween 2018, Sinners, Long Legs, and finally Scream. All these movies make bank and they're
yeah,
very recognizable properties, especially for in the last couple of years with the substance. It's very recognizable imagery with the way everything
yeah,
looks, long legs, the way a Nick Cage looked in the makeup. They grabbed a lot of imagery that has gone viral on social media because of horror fans just sharing that
Right.
they think is going to be good, whether it's long legs or weapons or
Yeah.
Ma or whatever, you know.
It
I
really
think
is a
it's smart.
snapshot of now, right? And
Yes, a
it's
snapshot of the zeitgeist, exactly.
yeah, and so that is I'll wrap up my end of the conversation here is ultimately, yes, I've been thinking too much about Scary Movie and like but that's the thing, right? It's like it's easy to be like, "Oh, well that movie was funny or wasn't funny," right? Like but it is a much more interesting conversation is the why, right? It's ultimately like why do you think something's funny or why do you think something's not funny? And
Yeah.
ultimately that's going to be the conversation that Arturo and I will have when we see this. I
Yeah. Yeah,
as
for sure.
I I'm forcing Arturo
But dude, like,
to watch the other two movies to see the story and leading up to this one.
yes, 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 I will be taking that deep dive
Because
with
there is a
pleasure.
story and these
But dude,
are
like,
characters that people love.
honestly,
That's the thing.
dare I say, I've been thinking more about this trailer than the movie it was attached to.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
Scream
go
7. We
check
kind
out
of
our review for Scream 7, folks. It's on YouTube. Go like,
yeah,
subscribe, and share. Go check out that review. Let us know in the comments what you thought about Scream 7 and how that franchise went, and what
right.
you thought about the trailer of Scary Movie 6 attached to Scream 7. But Tex, seriously though, in all seriousness, I think I've been thinking about this trailer a lot more than I've wanted to.
Yeah.
And I can't believe I'm saying that about a scary movie.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been so adamant in the last 20 years or so of like, dude, it's not my thing. It's not my bag.
Right.
I'm against it. I'm a true horror fan over here. You know, I don't go for that parody stuff, right? And then you get movies like Tucker and Dale versus Evil. You get movies like Cabin in the
Right.
Woods
Where
that
they
have
start
softened
kind
up
of
my heart. Yeah.
like and technically when you go back to it, right, you have movies like Evil Dead 2, was it
Yes.
Dead Alive, where like it's so much that it goes around to being campy. And
Dead Alive.
yes, and I yeah, and I know you don't like Arturo does not like campy horror movies and all that. This is why like this has been such a this is gonna be such a fun conversation when we see it.
Yes.
Because Arturo and like horror comedy just does not mix. But like you said, there are the ones that did the work to kind of open up your mind to it. So
Yeah,
I
but listen, like
yeah,
it's different from a horror B movie where at least scary movie is intentionally supposed to be
yeah,
funny. You know what I
it's
mean?
being
Eh,
stupid. And when it's really
yeah,
stupid, you can
yeah.
just be like, whatever. That's one thing that didn't connect with me, right? But like it's the spaghetti at the wall thing, right? Where it's like,
Yes.
okay, oh well that one stuck, but all the other ones didn't. So
Only
we'll see.
time
Yeah.
will tell, buddies.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. This is the Morgue, where we dissect the latest and greatest in the world of entertainment. I am your host, Arturo Padilla, and with me always is Mr. Nick Valdez. A big shout out goes to you guys out there for listening and for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. Hit the thumbs up, hit the bell. That way, you know when all these videos are dropping. And also, do not forget, we are on the podcast streams. Go like, subscribe, and share. Leave us some 5 stars, some reviews. We would highly appreciate it. Big shout out goes to Delvirus for all the artwork you've seen in front of you throughout the years. And last but not least, always remember, folks, it's a scary, scary world out there. Scary movie world, maybe? It's been a little funny recently, but we are here to walk you through it.